Hey everybody, and welcome back to Collect Them All, our new show, the newest show, I should say, in our MyGarageBar.com podcast series. Sitting here again, once again, with Mr. Jacob Dockstader.
Hello.
What's happening, my friend?
It's still on the Super Bowl high.
Yeah? Still riding that from yesterday?
It was a good game.
It was a good game.
It was.
I know Bill's thrilled.
Bill's like, I can't wait till next season to watch more football.
If you can't tell, I don't care about sports.
Do you even know a team?
What's a football? No, I don't know.
And of course, Bill Seth joining us. So, yeah, that was quite the thing. But now that we're not doing the football podcast on the other thing there, now it's straight up collectibles.
Yeah, now I can focus in on my focusing.
There you go.
Straight up nerds.
I'm going to unleash my inner nerd. So, I was sitting here this week and we were trying to think of some things that we could talk about, and I know that one of the topics everybody has been saying is Masters of the Universe. We have to definitely talk about Masters of the Universe because why not, right?
Why not? Because all three of us have the power.
That's right. I got some funny stories about that we'll talk about in just a little bit. Before we get into that, I want to I guess we should probably talk about the Netflix series to start, the Toys That Made Us. And the reason I say that is because there seems to be like a big everybody's all in on Masters of the Universe all of a sudden. And I really, really think it has to do a lot with that show. Same way with Star Wars, same way with G.I. Joe, and of course, I don't follow Barbie, but hey, I'm sure that there's people looking for Barbie right now. But it seems that show has really kind of reignited a lot of people's inner nerd, and they're trying to go out and find some of these lines now from when they were a kid.
I think He-Man's been picking up steam for the past couple of years because I think, the age of collectors is changing. Like the generation that grew up with He-Man is now like the main collector, not so much maybe like Star Wars. You're getting to the next generation. So the people that may have forgotten definitely are interested again in selling their wares that they have.
Their wares.
Laying around from that TV show, no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, it's sad. I probably should have done this, but I haven't yet. I haven't watched that show yet. I've been slacking. I'm doing a collectible podcast, and I have no frame of reference for this topic. I haven't watched the Toys That Made Us yet. Really? I've heard a lot of things about it. I heard it's great, but I haven't been able to check it out yet. Just haven't had the time.
It's a good show. I dig it. We were talking about, I'm not really sure if it helps like the true collectors. Now everybody and their mothers out there rediscovering garage sales and everything else. But
I got this figure with, no accessories, weapons, and he's ground into the dirt. He must be worth tons of money.
My dog bit the head off. It still should be worth something, right? Yeah, absolutely. But that's something that, before we really get into the whole discussion of the Masters of the Universe line, you and I had talked about that prior, and I think you're exactly right, that it kind of goes in a little bit of a wave. For a while, Star Wars was really, really, really hot, and then G.I. Joe started trickling in there a little bit, and now all of a sudden it really seems to be Masters of the Universe is gaining some steam. And you're right, it's like that is the age. I mean, if you kind of do the math, those people are starting to get into that groove there where now they're looking for stuff.
Right.
And I really don't doubt that probably in the near future, maybe next couple years, you'll start to see more of like Transformers. I know Transformers they have a following anyways, but.
Right. And I told you the other day that Power Rangers is like huge again.
Yeah.
Now, is it the type of thing where new collectors, excuse me, I don't want to say new collectors, but maybe, collectors of Star Wars have completed their collections and now moving on to different things, or is it just generating a whole new variety of collectors?
Well, I honestly, there's probably a little bit of truth to both of that.
Because once you complete something, you got the, like you like to say, instead of the bug, you have the full illness. But,
the virus.
Once you have that bug, and you have completed it, you move on to the next thing.
Yeah. And that actually is a very good point. I think there is a lot of people out there that do that. They finish up a line, or they get what they wanted out of it, and then it's on to the next thing. But I also do think that there's, if you start thinking about it, I mean, how many years have we been collecting some of this stuff since we were a kid? Probably
at least 35.
Yeah, about 35 years. And if you figure out like all of a sudden the 80s, the early 80s to like maybe 87 is when people were really hitting with the Masters of the Universe, 88. And now all of a sudden, do the math, about 30 years, and here you are, right about that time, too.
So what's the latest figure in the Masters of the Universe line? When did they stop producing them in 89, was it? Or was it? No, did they keep going?
87 was the last, I think, major. It was 82 to 87.
Yeah, they started doing like the laser light figures, and that was kind of the end of it there. And then, of course, they tried to bring it back with a really, really, really crappy line after that. The Adventures, the New Adventures, I think it was, of He-Man, and those figures are just god awful.
Yeah, what was the tagline in that cartoon? By the power of Eternia. Yeah, it just doesn't have the same, pizzazz.
Yeah, Grayskull's a little cooler.
Yeah, but I do think that's kind of the case, and yeah, it wouldn't shock me at all to really see a lot more with Transformers and probably Turtles, and of course, like you said, Power Rangers moving forward. That's going to be the new thing. So,
see, speaking of Transformers, I'd still love to own Megatron. I don't have it. I remember I had it when I was a kid. I'd still like to own it to this day, I think.
Well, it's funny, and we'll have to tackle this very soon. I got a little bit of a lead. Somebody with a Transformers collection. I think you might be seeing that show coming at us very soon.
Hey.
But let's dive into this Masters of the Universe line here, because we all had these things, man. We all used to play with them, and some of us still do. I meant collect them. So let me ask you, these figures, I kind of like the hallmark of these figures is they were really
naked.
They were really naked men, but they also had like these goofy names.
Oh, yeah.
And some of them really bad action, I want to say. And the one I'm thinking of in particular, Mechaneck. Do you remember Mechaneck?
Oh yeah, you bust him out of the package and wow.
And wish you hadn't.
He's kind of like the E.T. of He-Man. Like, his head goes up and down. You're like, okay.
Great.
If you're stuck in a sewer Mechaneck, maybe you could pop your head up and see who's coming. But other than that, I have no use for you.
And you couldn't even, like, if you were a kid and you're going to play with him, you can't even do anything because every 5 minutes his head's popping up. You can't take this guy into a fight. You go to swing his waist, his freaking head comes up. You don't want that.
He'd be good in like the movie theater back in the day when they weren't like elevated seats, like so you could see over someone else's head.
Oh yeah,
in front of you. That's like his only purpose.
Yeah, or a periscope.
Yeah, there you go. Well, and they had a thing. Remember Extendar? That was another figure in the line. They had a real thing with like muscular men extending.
Well, back to the shows that the toys that made us show. Was it you that told me that they kind of just were sitting around in a bar and were throwing names at a wall and they kind of stuck? Or
yeah, it was kind of. If you actually look at a lot of what they're saying, most of it seems like they're just recycling things.
Yeah, there's a door over there. Let's put some arms and legs on it. We'll call them Door Dar.
Well, like the Battle Cat. The Battle Cat was obviously recycled off of another line, and like they say in the show. They went in there and said, well, let's try to use this. We can't. The size is all wrong. So throw a saddle on it.
Yeah, this guy's got a claw. He's awful. He's clawful.
Right. So, but that's what they did a lot is, he's a beast. He's a half a man. He's beast man.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of drunk stream of conscious ideas just thrown out there. Sure, the drugs behind that as well.
But who was your favorite character? I got to ask you that right off the bat.
Honestly, my favorite character is. Okay, I'm gonna just say it.
Mechaneck.
Nope, it's Orko. Orko's been my all-time favorite character.
Come on,
you stole my thunder.
I swear to God, I love Orko. He's just a completely goofy character, but I just loved him. And Buzz Off. I just told you a minute ago before we started this. Buzz Off was one of my main dudes. Like anytime there's a battle. Buzz Off is in that battle.
That's your go-to guy, huh?
It's like one of my go-to guys, yeah. But Orko's like my favorite. Like anything with Orko, I'm all about. And then later on, it became Hordak. For the folks listening, you can't see, but I'm wearing a shirt with Hordak on it right now, riding a scooter, hanging out with a wolf. So
nice.
That is a nice shirt, by the way. I like that.
Thank you.
But I got to say something about Buzz Off. Worst name in the whole world.
Oh, well, he's a bee.
Yeah, but
and he buzzes.
What's your name? I'm Buzz Off. Come on.
Yeah, I mean it's completely corny, but anything with like lizards or wings. I mean, that was cool when I was a kid.
I mean, we could go on and on about the horrible names if you want to. I mean, you're looking at Gorilla.
Gorilla.
Stinkor.
Yeah.
Rock On.
Yeah. Snout Spout.
Don't forget his buddy Stonedar.
Oh, that's right, Stonedar.
Clamp Champ.
Yeah, he's like the token black guy, right?
He was the token black guy.
There was a couple of them, I think. But I know wasn't more than two, I don't think. Two black guys.
Let me think. How many black guys was there in there? There was obviously...
Wasn't there one with like a jetpack or something like that?
Jetpack?
No, I don't think so. There was Jitsu, he was the samurai, and Clamp Champ.
Clamp Champ, I remember, was...
Was there more Asians than black guys in the Masters of the Universe line?
I don't know.
Well, we're going into
there was
some deep waters here.
It's not minority centric.
Yeah,
I guess.
Wow, who did it? Was Ninjor and Jitsu.
Yeah, Ninjor and Jitsu.
Yeah,
in Grizzlore.
Jake, who was your favorite guy?
I got to go with
say Orko.
Bill stole my thunder. I was going to say Orko. I loved Orko, but I'll go with Skeletor. I guess
there you
my
go.
second favorite. He's just looked great.
Yeah,
he's evil looking, so I was a fan of his.
See, mine was always Beastman. Beastman was the very first figure I got when I was a kid. I went to the KB with my grandmother, and lo and behold, I came home with a Beastman. And from that moment on, I was hooked.
Well, you know what? Let's backtrack because, we were probably collecting the same stuff at the same time. And He-Man was a larger scale.
Yep.
And completely just like off kilter because I didn't see the cartoon before I had my first He-Man figure. It was just kind of like on a whim. And I liked Merman and I had asked for him. I didn't know what the hell he was. And then within like a month, I saw the cartoon and it had blown up. But I mean, that was a huge shakeup coming from like G.I. Joe and Star Wars, being much larger in scale and unfortunately price point because I didn't, get as many of those as I did at the small figures.
Yeah.
But
those were $5, not $3.
I think they were like $5, $6. But
yeah.
It's weird because with He-Man, it wasn't like I even had some of the major characters. I never had Beastman. I never had Castle Grayskull. I never had Battle Cat. Like I missed actually like a lot of the main characters. I had like all the oddball guys.
Yeah, I had pretty much all of them.
I'm sure you did.
I did.
Now, my least favorite, if we're going to go down that road, also I just thought of his name popped into my head, and we were talking about horrible names, but in functionality is Ram Man. That was the worst figure I think I ever
that guy
had.
definitely sucked as a figure.
Well, he had no articulation at all. His arms kind of spun a little bit, and he had that weird spring, in his legs there. But if you lost the spring, or if it crapped out on you, then he just kind of like sat in a little pile.
And he was like that cheap hollow plastic. He didn't seem like he was part of the rest of the He-Man cast. Yeah, they did a terrible job with him.
What the hell was Ram Man? He was
just a battering ram.
Yeah, but I mean, he was like on the show. He was kind of a dummy.
Yeah, he was a big dummy.
Yeah, a big dummy that smacked his head in.
What do you want, you big dummy?
No, the show did that. Am I right in saying that the show was actually based on the toys, as opposed to the opposite?
Well, I guess it's kind of.
Or did they just go hand in hand? They said, we're coming out with this cartoon, and here's the toys, too, guys.
Yeah, I guess basically how they said it is they wanted to use the cartoon to kind of further along the
toy line.
The toy line.
So the toy line was out first, then?
Yeah, the toy line predates everything. And then they were going to do the add-on was the comic, or the mini-comics.
Right.
And then I guess that didn't cut it, so they did the cartoon.
Yeah. And it's very weird, because if you look at the original kind of run of them, and you open it up and you see the minute comic in there, it's nothing like the Filmation cartoon is. It's He-Man is his own guy. There was no Adam,
Okay.
and he doesn't change. He's kind of like a barbarian guy that's just
like
running.
Conan.
Yeah, exactly. And and he's kind of fighting the whole time as He-Man.
I should have found that out, I guess, when I was doing a little research before the show, when I was on the website He-Man.org, if you believe it or not. Not .com or net, .org. They're an important organization, those guys over there.
They are. Very fast.
I think Bill said it earlier when he said they should be, what was it, Bill?
.edu.
Yeah, there you go. Educate
or
yourselves.
.gov. We could
.gov.
He-man.gov.
That cracked me up when I was doing the research. Heman.org. Like I was on a website that meant something, you know.
Let me ask you this: the He-Man lineup, and I know you and I have talked about it before. They always say like Barbie. Barbie is really bad for little girls because it's kind of pushing them in this direction, saying you have to look this certain way. The skinny, blonde, big boobs. The whole nine. What the hell did He-Man do for little kids?
Well, he made me look the way I do today.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're lucky.
I'm a specimen of He-Man.
An Adonis.
Yeah. Chiseled. I'm really chiseled. Yeah, I mean, you look at it and a bunch of little kids playing with these guys that were just stacked.
Society doesn't care about men, Rich.
No, they do not.
I mean, I was a skinny little runt, so when I was watching that show and playing with the figures, it didn't really dawn on me, obviously, as a kid. But, later on, I was like, man, what kind of role model is He-Man for, like, a little runt like me? Like, I can never measure up to this guy's, like, brutal strength and, like, crazy, muscular, figure. But, of course, when they made the Masters of the Universe, like, costume playset that came with, like, a shield, the sword, and maybe, like, I don't know, like a belt or something.
I think they had the bands.
The armbands. That's what it was, exactly. The armbands. When I got that as a kid, let me tell you something. I terrorized my neighborhood. I mean, it would literally be like 8 o'clock at night on a school night. I'd be running down the street and being like, I have the power. I mean, I would just be screaming it constantly, running all over the place, like jumping off like tree stumps and like swinging into nothing. Like, every person in my neighborhood hated my guts.
Put a shirt on!
At least 2 years. Well, I had clothes on, obviously. I just ran around in a loincloth, to be honest.
John, I think the neighbor's on drugs.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, I thought I was He-Man. And he'd take a look at some of those pictures of me dressed up, and it's like, oh, my God.
It's funny because when they were out, when they were kind of like really, really big, that was right about the time I was hitting, God, I'm trying to think how old I would have been. Maybe like 10? 9-ish, 10, somewhere around there, 10, 11, I don't know. All I do know is that I think I was in like 5th grade. By today's standards, way out of toys.
So you were about 18.
Yeah, I was about 25 years old. But, sitting in class, you can't tell. There's, like, you're making that weird transition in your life from either toys or whatever to girls. And some of the guys in the class had already kind of caught on to that. Others, like myself, a little bit slow. Still sitting at the house with the toys.
That rings true for me because that's why I had to do research on He-Man because I was literally getting right out of toys right around that time when it came out. I had seen them, but I wasn't, playing with them very much.
Well, I know I was sitting in class, and you can't tell the other kids in the class you're playing with friggin' He-Man. Everybody's going to laugh at your ass. So we had this one guy, this buddy of mine, he used to come over all the time and play with these He-Man toys. And, of course, he got yelled at this one time for not doing his homework. And the teacher says to him, why didn't you do your homework? What's so important? And he goes, well, I was over Rich's house last night playing He-Man. And of course it's filled with girls that I wanted to, start talking to. And that was the end of it.
The one He-Man memory that sticks out for me vividly from when I was a kid was the cartoon. I used to watch the cartoon, right after school would be on, and like Batman from the 60s was on. It was like back to back, I think. And, but I used to get in trouble a lot, so I would record. I had like a Fisher-Price cassette deck, and I would back in the day, they had the console TVs, so I would take my cassette deck and record the He-Man episode on a tape so that when I got grounded from being in trouble or whatever I was doing, I could go back in my room when I couldn't watch TV and listen to the tape of the He-Man episode so I wouldn't miss anything.
Nice.
Meanwhile, while I recorded it, I wasn't watching it because I had to sit right up in front of the speaker holding the cassette tape, so I couldn't watch the show while I was recording it, so I never even watched the episode. I only heard it.
I was going to say, I'm actually, I discovered that they have the original series now on Netflix, and I'm driving my girlfriend absolutely nuts with it. So
I'm going to have to get this. What is it called? Netflix?
Yeah, this whole Netflix
Never
thing.
heard of it.
Driving her nuts, though, so now she's breaking my balls walking around the house going, by the power of Grayskull.
Well, now that you're rewatching it, as I did a few years past, I started watching some of the old cartoons, and He-Man was one of them. And honestly, I think it holds up. I think the animation's fantastic. But what I did realize about He-Man is I think is solely responsible for the wise-ass attitude of our generation. I'm telling you.
Skeletor and, those guys are brutal.
All they do, between He-Man...
Sarcasm.
They snapping on each other, calling each other boneheads, fur face, wimps,
you muscle-bound buffoon.
Yeah, every episode's just like snapping on each other. So when you think about it, like our generation's like just super quick-witted, just snapping on one another.
Yeah.
Not so much this, recent generations. I mean, I'm telling you, He-Man is solely responsible for us being
snarky
jerks. Really,
that's a good theory. Actually, I could almost agree with that.
It's I actually, as I'm watching it though, I can't pull myself away, man. I'm like, you watch a couple and you're like, oh, I forgot all about this. It's entertaining as all hell, man. So
I was really excited when I saw the Geico commercial for the first time.
What does he say? Like, peace out or whatever?
Peace out, something like that. But that was great.
Catch you on the flip, suckers. Oh my God. What else we got here? I want to talk about the new line of the figures a little bit. Have you gotten into some of those?
Well, if this is probably going back almost, like 15 years ago. I don't know if you remember when Media Play was a retailer, in the upstate area. They used to have like a ton of like collectible toys. I used to check for like the McFarlane stuff and what have you there. And I ran into when they did the re-release of some of the Masters Universe, they re-released Skeletor, He-Man, and they were just taken from the original molds and recarded. I was like, oh, these are fantastic. I didn't have any use to buy. I was like, I'm not gonna get into this stuff. And I really thought at that point He-Man was it. That was gonna be like the little Flash. And in recent years, like Super 7 did like the possessed Skeletor with like Terror Wolf, Terror Bat. I didn't really understand where they were coming from with those. And then they did the minifigures, the pop figures now, and now they did the classics and the Filmation. I mean,
those ones are wild.
I mean, they're fantastic, especially the Filmation ones because they look just like the cartoons.
Yeah.
But if you're not on, the website, pre-ordering those, like the minute they go up, you're not getting them unless you like to spend like $200 a figure. So I haven't really gotten into those.
So the interest is definitely there then. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of a point that I was going to try to make here is that, for the new lines they put out, and I remember, did you see I want to say it was the NECA? How do you say it? NECA? Right?
Yeah, I think that's it.
I want to say that.
I'm going to say Nika.
Nika? So let me think about it.
You can't tell me any different.
You will not control me. Yeah. I was going to say the NECA versions of them. If you looked at the Clawful, I mean, that was terrifying. The way they had big ass arms.
Oh yeah, there's was it Whiplash? They took that corny character and made him look killer.
Yeah.
And of course, they turned Hordak into like one of the most amazing pieces.
So I haven't seen these. Are they like realistic or are they based on the cartoon?
No, those ones that Rich is mentioning are kind of almost like if McFarlane's like Monsters did like a take on He-Man. They're really like detailed, definitely tweaked out and scary.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, but the Filmation ones, when you look at the Filmation, that seems to be what everybody still wants. As much as we used to say, oh, the cartoon, it's corny, and that is what everybody wants, man, the Filmation versions. And if you look at a lot of the, when we talk about new things that were coming out, the movie from years ago, people were really, really kind of disgusted that the movie...
Really? I loved it.
Why? No. No, they were very disgusted that, that it didn't follow the Filmation cartoon a little closer. It didn't follow it at all. Yeah, exactly. It couldn't be any further away from it. Gwildor! Yeah. So, did you see the production stills or I should say production still? There's only one.
Yeah, the one of Tila looking like a Michael Bay Transformer.
Yeah, from the new movie that's coming out.
Oh, there is a movie. I thought it was just a rumor. Okay.
No, it's in production, and if you've seen the, I guess what they're saying, battle armor Tila.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really, really bad looking.
I guess I didn't go cruising around He-Man.org well enough. I didn't know any of this information.
Well, I actually got this from He-Man.com. EDU.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, but the I know that the
and Rich sent it to me on AIM.
That's the production still from that is dreadful. It's absolutely freaking dreadful. And I know that everybody was totally psyched about this new movie coming out. The minute that was released, all you saw was like,
oh, yeah,
done.
All the gas was just over for that.
Running on E.
Yep, totally. I mean, it's kind of unfair because nobody knows what it's going to look like, obviously. But, that's not the first thing I want to see.
Yeah, yeah. Any hope for it?
When's this thing coming out?
We'll see.
I don't know the actual date on it. Do you know?
If it's just in production, you're probably looking at 2019.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Oh, yeah. We'll all go see it. We're
we're
going
all
to sit
gonna
here
see
and
it.
talk.
Just like I see every Marvel movie and every other movie under the sun. It's, whatever. I'll be there.
Yeah. So before we go to break here and, talk about some other things, do you guys even collect the new, or I should say any of the old He-Man figures, the old Masters of the Universe? Do you have any?
I don't have any, no.
No?
Unfortunately.
I actually sold most of my He-Man guys a few years back for like $40. Like I had, tons of the figures. Well, I don't say tons. I probably had about 20 left. I kept maybe 5 that I liked, but I had all the weapons, the accessories, and I was like, He-Man, I'm not gonna get any of these. Nobody cares about He-Man. I was like, I have $40. What a deal! I thought I was, striking it rich on eBay, and looking back at it now, I wish I kept them. I keep telling you, Rich, that I'm not going to collect He-Man, but the more I see, the more I want to, especially with those Filmations. So I don't know if I'm going to go back and collect the original stuff, maybe a few pieces, but I'm definitely going to go swimming in the Filmation ones, absolutely.
Judging by the notebook you showed us earlier, you're going to be collecting soon enough.
Yeah, I had 48.
Going to put together a quick run.
Where's my Orko?
I got to tell you, that's another one of those lines I feel like if you were going to collect, it would have been great for you to jump on a few years ago because the prices on those things are just shooting up through the roof now.
Yeah, when you were buying them, you were getting them on a cheap. And I was like,
absolutely.
Wow, there's really no value. And all of a sudden, a year later, I'm like, maybe I'll pick up Skeletor. I'm like, 40, 50, $60.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What's the blue He-Man? What's his name? Faker?
Yeah.
What's he sell for? Is he a rare figure or is it just...
Well,
why did they even make him?
What is a faker?
But you know what? We're running out of stuff to do. Let's make a blue guy. And
We're out of stuff to do. I think he was like one of the first guys they made.
Yeah.
we ran out of ideas and molds, so we'll just color him blue.
What was great too when they put the sticker on his chest, and like, he's a robot.
But that's what makes him so rare.
Absolutely,
you cannot find Faker with the sticker.
And they make the repro stickers for that, which is kind of a pain in the ass. But there's a lot of those figures that are really starting to take off. We just mentioned Clamp Champ. That figure is a pain to find. It's his little weapon thing that hooks on his arm with the pinchers that come out. That weapon is a pain to find. And then there's some other ones. I guess I was actually very, very lucky, that I was picking them up, like we said, before the craze really started up again. But Scareglow.
Yeah, I remember I was with you when you bought that.
Yeah, Scareglow. I can't remember what I paid for that. I want to say I bought it for like $40.
That's a good deal.
Yeah. And, now forget it. You ain't touching it for $40.
Yeah, see, when Scareglow came out, he was a 1987 figure. So by then I was not collecting He-Man whatsoever. So when the He-Man craze came back around, and everyone's like, Scareglow, gotta get a Scareglow. I was like, who the hell is Scareglow? I didn't even heard of this guy. And I thought he was just maybe some, like, foreign exclusive, but I had no idea because I was long out of He-Man by then. But, I'm not touching Scareglow anytime soon.
Yeah.
What's his going range right now?
Oh,
figure $100 or something?
Yeah, easily.
Because this is why he's got a cape, right?
Well, he's got the cape, and then there was
glow
staff or something,
and then a green staff. Right?
Yeah. I think they call that a halbert, right?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
I should have known that.
Yeah, but it does. It's like glow in the dark, and so that's a one that's pretty rare. And then there's a couple. King Randor, he's a rare one. He's harder to get. I noticed with the King Randor, his legs, every time you find that figure, his legs are always rotting. They have that we've talked about it before.
The rubber rot almost.
Yeah, the plastic rubber rot. And you can see it because it'll be speckled. and they get that tacky feeling to them.
I can't remember. How are these He-Man guys held together on the inside? Is it rubber bands?
Yeah, rubber bands on the legs. It's like posts, knobs, whatever.
Because most of the arms you could just like pop off.
Yeah.
And then the heads, they're just rubber.
Soft rubber, I remember that. But like if the legs come apart, are they repairable?
There's a way you can do it, and I've seen people do it where they kind of like snake it through. They snake there's a band out there, a certain band that you can get. It's like not designed for that, but like you get it at the hardware store, and it just happens to be the right one to fit. So I've seen people do that, or you'll see them like they try to do it with like thicker string, and they try to roll it through.
It's very difficult. I did that with my Skeletor from childhood. I rebanded his leg, and it's
a pain.
It's a lot of swear words, let me tell you.
Absolutely is.
Harder than G.I. Joe's?
Way harder.
Okay. Yeah, G.I. Joes are pretty easy. There's only 2 that are hard to repair, and but the Masters of the Universe figures, man, their legs once they start to go, it's like
they all wobbly, they buckle in.
Can't stand them worth a crap.
You can't display them.
No,
I can't believe things like Dragster. He had that the ripcord.
Yeah, the little ripcord on the back.
I can't believe how hard it is to find those ripcords. Like other figures and other toy lines had ripcords too. Orko had a ripcord, and it seems like that's the thing that nobody has. Like the Tron cars, ripcords. You can't find the ripcords. I was like, how did you lose these things? They're so long.
Yeah, there's another figure in this line called Blast Attack. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah, vaguely.
And he had like a little pump. You stick it in his back and you hit it. And
it's not what I thought you were going to say.
He's got a pump. You stick it in his pants. No, you pump it and it blows him apart. I don't know why they would really make that figure where you can blow him up.
I don't know. Well, look at the He-Man the Battle Attack. That's like the same time Matchbox was doing the crack-ups, I think they were called.
Yeah.
So that was like all the rage, and like that technology, something flipped and it made like a scar or a dent.
Yeah, like Battle Armor He-Man.
Yeah.
Those were cool.
So, but yeah, there's a lot of them that are really valuable now, and they're certainly hard to get.
Now, how is the rarity of Moss Man? Because I know I burned the hell out of mine.
So did I.
Yeah, they're out there. There's actually 2 types of Moss Man. One is like a foreign one. I'm trying to remember where it was from, but he has more fangs in his mouth, and I think it's his skin. He has the moss that's on him. It's like a greener.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's like a little bit greener. So.
Yeah, Grizzlor, blown up with firecrackers, whatever I could get my hands on. I burned, for some reason, Moss Man. You just want to burn that guy.
Yeah, you gotta. You have to.
You guys got against him, man. Come on.
Not you kids out there. Don't burn them.
Don't play with lighters, kids.
Oh, my God. When we come back, I think we'll take a break right now. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about some of the other lines that people got mixed up with the Masters of the Universe, because there's certainly a ton of them that I see on all these different forums we go to.
I've seen some people get Thundercats mixed up with He-Man.
Thundercats, Warlords, there's all kinds of them. Blackstars, they get all of them mixed up, and I guess I want to do a little something with that. And then we're also going to talk about some of the things that we're looking for. And I guess we had some mail calls here, right?
Yep. There are some show and tell boxes.
There you go. I seen a whole bunch coming in, so we'll have more to talk about. We'll be back in just 1 second.
And while we're at break, I'm going to go fire up a Moss Man.
Anyways, we're back, and
by the power of Grayskull,
some of the conversations we actually have off air here, we should really just start with those.
I don't know.
We're just afraid to.
No doubt, I'm absolutely afraid to put them on there.
We'll have to form an LLC, and just so we can't be sued personally.
We were talking, of course, about all the not so politically correct characters that we could come up with, and that's going to be a different show.
Absolutely.
So before we went to break here, I mentioned that I wanted to talk about some of these other lines that everybody is always kind of confusing with Masters of the Universe. One of the things that drives me nuts, and I don't know if you guys have seen me rant about it on those Facebook forums.
I've blocked you.
I don't blame you. I wish I could
Rich's
block
rants.
myself. The two worst things that anybody ever says on there is it's a chase, it's an exclusive, or it's a knockoff, or it's a bootleg. Like, dude, these are not. These are actually their own lines, a lot of these. The one of the famous ones you always see is Blackstar. And they say, oh, the knockoff line of Blackstar. It's really not. It's similar to Masters of the Universe, but it's not a knockoff.
They even had its own cartoon, if I recall correctly. Blackstar, right?
Yeah, and it's certainly not a bootleg. Like
it's just more half-naked men with
that's
muscles.
Right. little less muscly, these Blackstar figures. I remember
spindly at times.
Yeah, and do you remember the little Trobbits? What they call them?
I do. The pink little whatever they are, trolls.
Well, they had the trolls, but then they had the Trobbits. Remember, they were like the little elves that went with them.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, they had pointy ears or elves.
Yeah. And they used to fly in a big balloon.
Didn't one have like really big ears?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So, and that one actually goes for a ton of cash.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I want to say Gossamer. I think that guy's name is. So, ton of cash.
Yeah, I had those when I was a kid, but I didn't like them too much because they were just
goofy.
A slab of plastic. They didn't move. Just like rest them there. But I did like the Blackstar figure because he had the the sheath for his sword, where most lines didn't have anything for the swords. Like He-Man, you watch the cartoon, he always puts it in the sheath in his back, and Get the Toy doesn't have that, but Blackstar did. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, that's a great accessory.
It is.
Oh, and like you said, when you're playing with him as a kid, you put the sword in his back, like along his yeah, and you put it in his armor, and it stretches it all out,
and then it breaks, and you're like, great.
But
I only have half the power now.
The Blackstar figures, they were pretty cool. I do collect them. Shocking. 1983 is when they started releasing that first wave of them. And
who made those?
Who did make those?
Was it Mattel?
No,
that's He-Man.
Oh God, let me think about that. I have to come back to that. Now you got me stumped. But yeah, that I do collect those. They're a cool lineup. I don't know. They have some very good figures, man. If you remember, there was like Tongo, the big yellow lion-looking guy,
yep.
tiger. He had all the weapons in his back. There was Neptune.
I remember him.
Yeah, he was like I guess in a weird way.
There's Merman?
Yeah.
They're Merman?
They're knockoffs.
Well, that's the thing. I can see why people get confused, because when I had the Blackstar figures, which I didn't have a ton of them, but I would intermingle them with He-Man.
Sure.
Jacob's got something for us.
Galoob.
Galoob
All right.
made him, that's right.
That figures.
Yeah. And I was going to say there was another lineup that people used to confuse, and they do confuse it all the time. And that's the Warlords of the, I think it's of the Forgotten Realm or whatever it is.
Oh, see, that's what I would consider the knockoff.
Yeah, I was always kind of offended by those when I saw them in like KB. I always thought they were just, exactly, junk knockoffs.
What a rip, yeah.
But I mean, that's Remco that made those, and they've got quite a line. They have the three of them. There was like the Warlord, Hercules, and I want to say his name was Arak or something like that.
Yeah,
I think that line put Remco right out of commission there.
And then they had Warrior Beasts. I think was the other ones that they had. So,
but I don't know. I feel like that company was kind of grasping at straws, because
they were
noted for like the monster stuff,
yeah.
And then they're like, okay, what do we do? Kids don't care about this now. They want more like adventure and sci-fi, and they should have just stayed out of that market. They
had that line. They had the rubber figures, the old rubber dragons. Remember when you were a kid and you used to go into like KB and they had a big bin, just like rubber spiders and things like that. Well, they tried to incorporate some of those into this line. So if you look at it, they have like the dragons and things like that were rubber. Yeah. It looks like an iguana, I think, is one of them that they have, and That's one of their figures. So
yeah,
very awkward.
When these people go to flea markets and what have you, toy shows, and they get those things on the cheap. I mean, I can totally understand. We're like, okay, what is this, a knockoff He-Man? What is this? I get it. I mean, it kind of bothers you, but it is what it is.
I think it bothers me because people just don't bother looking it up.
Oh, yeah, I can't stand when people are like, hey, I just picked up this collection. Can you tell me what each one of these pieces is? Because I don't want to do it on my own.
Yeah.
I don't like that either. But.
That drives me nuts, and if they look at something and they don't immediately recognize it, that must be a bootleg. You're like,
must be.
It's got to be a bootleg, or it's got to be a knockoff, because, it's not one of the 4 characters that I know from this toy line, so it's got to be a knockoff.
It looks similar, so it's got to be a bootleg.
Right. So, and I noticed that a lot of people are even doing that with discolorations. Like we're just talking about the
effects of the plastic, right?
Yeah. And one of the guys that we looked at was Hercules from this line I'm talking about, the Lost World of the Warlord. And somebody had him on there. He came with white shorts. This thing's obviously like sat in the sun or whatever the hell it was. Somebody buried it in the lawn for 5 years. These shorts were brown, and he had listed it on eBay saying rare
shat my pants variant.
Doo-doo brown.
Doo-doo brown. Yeah, that's what he called it. He called it like the brown shorts variant. And I thought that's the most absurd thing I've ever heard.
Skid mark variation.
Skid mark. I have to tell you, those were the guys when we were little kids and stuff. We always used to kind of throw them into the mix. And, you used to invite all your friends over to come over and play with the toys and stuff. There's one kid we had down the road. We hated his guts, but he always wanted to be involved in this. So we used to say, well, you can use those guys. So they got like the little crappy ones. And there was this one guy, if you look at him, he is the Warlord. He's got like white shorts with like black polka dots or whatever. I think it's supposed to be like leopard spots or some shit. I don't know. And yeah, we were like, he became officially known as the kid we used to avoid all the time was Matt. He was Matt's underwear figure. So we're like, yeah,
here you go, Matt.
Here's your figure. Here you go.
Yeah, I used to be bugged out when I was a kid. Kids want to come over and play with my toys. I just kind of like watch them like a hawk. I'm like, oh, don't bend them like this. Don't do that. I was kind of like,
keep them in the package.
Yeah, I was kind of a pain in the ass. No, I wasn't gonna like keep it in the package, but if something's missing, if you bust my Snake Eyes or Storm Shadow or Luke, I'm gonna bust you.
You take it outside. You take this right to the bike rack.
Our own battle.
I was the exact opposite. All my toys were destroyed.
Burn everything.
Burn the city down.
Burn it, blow it up. So let's talk about the other thing here. We have show and tell going on. We mentioned that just a minute ago. And Jake, you've brought in boxes, like a whole banana box full of stuff here.
Yeah, I had told Bill in our last episode that I'd show him my Hot Wheels collection of the Star Wars starships. They're pretty cool. I picked up 2 new ones, but that doesn't go with pickups of the week. Just kind of a show and tell, I guess.
Show, tell.
More like tell, because you guys out there can't see this.
That's right.
But they're great if you like the ships from the Star Wars movies. And Hot Wheels, it's a nice little cross collectible. They're great little ships.
Yeah, good price point, too.
Yeah. You have pretty much all of those, don't you?
Close to it. I think I'm only missing Yoda's starship.
So they've made just about everything.
Yeah, they're just about, they even, now they're coming out with the Last Jedi series. That was one of the new ones I picked up. TIE Fighter, Kylo Ren's TIE Striker or TIE Destroyer, whatever it's called. And then they have a gold version of the Millennium Falcon I hadn't seen, so I snagged that up too.
And I'm sure they're going to be coming out with...
So now I only have 4 Millennium Falcons. So.
I was going to say, I'm sure they're going to be coming out with new ones here for the Han Solo movie that's about to take off. So
or crash.
Before we talk a little bit about that trailer, what else you got over here? I know you got a bunch of Legos.
Yeah, these actually are. We're doing like what's this segment? Like pickups of the week, or since the last time we came. So I didn't bring them all with me, but I picked up the complete series of the Lego Batman minifigures. There's a lot of 20 of them in the set. And the main reason is, I mean, obviously I love Lego. I've talked about that before, but the Wonder Twins, I had to have them, and General Zod, and so once I'm a completist, so I have to have them all, so I do.
Nice.
And then I got a few other things too. We were breaking balls earlier in a previous show about DJ from the Last Jedi movie.
Who's DJ?
So I have him, Lego version, a bagged version. I'm going to open him up probably, and it comes with a nice little display backing. That's what I like about that. The new Lego figure bags they're coming out with the Star Wars. They're exclusive though. You had to buy them I think you spend $35 on Lego.com and you get these figures for free. And then a droid I picked up, and Lego City. I'm all Legoed. I'm all in. I'm all in on Lego stuff. And then a caveman and woman set that I picked up. So that's about it. And then Star Wars, I haven't bought anything vintage Star Wars, which I do collect in quite a while. So I'm focusing right in on Lego. I was telling my girlfriend earlier, I said, I haven't really bought too many lately. And then I thought about it. I said, only about 54 figures.
I see Deadpool sitting here, too.
Yeah, that was just another show and tell. I've had him for a while, but he's cool to look at. So.
Yeah. I think that's probably worth a couple shekels, too, isn't it?
I think he average price about $25. And the Lego stuff is, some of it's valuable, especially like you'll find some of the collectible minifigure series they put out. I think they're up to 18 now. Not including the Disney ones they put out, and then they put out the Batman miniseries from the movie. But some of those minifigures are upwards of $20 a piece, and they start out at $3.99 only a few years ago.
They definitely are on the up.
How old is the caveman set there?
That just came out recently. It was another exclusive from the website.
That's cool. I like that one.
Yeah. What do you got, Rich?
Oh, okay. I'm next. Okay.
Yeah, you can be next.
All right. Well, I haven't picked up much, so I don't want to get yelled at home about wasting money on toys. But for those that collect modern stuff or little higher end figures, Barnes and Nobles is a great place to check out their toy selection because every month they do a clearance, and at first it's like 50% off. I always wait till it's 75 a couple weeks later. So they had some of the DC Icon figures that normally go for like $25, $27. So after 75% off, and I'm a member, they want to be at $6 a piece. So I picked up Deadman and Black Adam.
The Black Adam's cool.
Very cool. He's got the little lightning fingertips, fully articulated, kind of in the line of maybe like a Star Wars Black Series or the Marvel Legends. Deadman being one of my all-time favorite characters. I was like, I had to have this guy. I did pick up a Batman. Like I told you, Jake, that I stowed him away from my son.
Yep.
So those some cheap finds.
So are these the rival to the Marvel Legends, or I think there was another one like DC Direct or something?
DC Direct is kind of like, that's their kind of answer to that.
Okay.
The DC Icons, they're like supposed to be a little bit more higher end, and they kind of have to do with specific storylines done in recent years for the DC stuff. So again, Barnes & Noble is a good place to check for discounted cheap toys. I also got Sark from the original Tron line. I already had a Sark, but he was kind of worse for wear. So I got a pretty decent one with almost no paint wear.
Yeah, looks nice tight, too. Tight limbs on that thing, huh?
$20. I thought that was fair. I'm kind of sick of trolling around eBay every single day looking for a perfect one. So that'll do. I just got to find his disc. Which will take me
good luck.
5 years to find that. So that was kind of cool. One of my favorite lines. And last but not least, got in the mail a Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, ultimate figure from NECA. Comes with the 2 dogs and the fire background from Nightmare on Elm Street 2. A multitude of heads, a removable hat and glove. So you have the fingered glove and then the hand with the razors coming out for whatever reason. So this did a pretty good job on that. I know not a lot of people like Nightmare on Elm Street 2, but I love the homoeroticism of that movie, as well as the fact that it makes no sense because Freddy's in like reality and not in people's dreams. Makes no sense, but I have a affinity for all things Freddy Krueger. So that's what's in my bag. Again, don't tell Adrian. You're up next, Rich.
That's an awesome piece, that Freddy. I love that.
Don't tell Adrian. And I will not tell her if you promise not to tell Erica about my...
I'm telling everybody because Laura and I are free and open. I tell her everything.
Well, obviously I'm kind of all over the board. I've said that a million times. So, what lineup am I not trying to finish right now? So I went out and I bought Kamala and
Kamala.
Yep.
What's that?
The Ugandan headhunter Kamala from LJN. The
wrestling.
Yep. And the Ugandan headhunter, along with Elizabeth and King Harley Race. Here.
Definitely don't tell Erica about the Elizabeth.
Well, here's the funny thing too, and I hate even admitting this, but a lot of the figures that I'm still needing from that line are the higher end ones, and when I say the higher end ones, they are very high end. There's some of those figures that are going like $250 for those, so we probably won't be picking those up anytime soon. But some of these ones that I've got here are the we'll call them the $40, $50 range, maybe a little bit more. And I just found somebody online who's looking to move them, and I was more than happy to take them. So there's that. And then the other thing that I just picked up, we were talking about the Masters of the Universe line here. I bought the original Snake Face not too long ago. I'm going to say maybe like a year and a half ago. And if you recall, when you push the little lever on his back, there's 2 snakes that drop down from his chest here. And when I got it, one was missing. And I never understood that. I was always pissed off that somebody sold it to me like that. And that thing is impossible. So lo and behold, I go on eBay about a week and a half ago, and somebody was finally selling that stupid chest snake. So I was
just a piece?
Just a piece.
Oh, wow, okay.
And somebody was selling it, and I was able to pick it up so I can finish that figure finally. But that thing has been like a year and a half coming, and I check all the time for it's never on there.
Here's the $1 million question. What'd that snake cost you?
It was cheap. It was cheap. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so you're always searching for pieces where I get frustrated. I'd rather just get rid of the bunk figure that I have and just rebuy a better one. I can't piecemeal. It takes forever. Well,
you know what, honestly, what I do is a lot of times when I'm on, even if I don't have the figure, but I think I'm going to get it eventually, I know that, that accessory is kind of hard, I'll just buy it. And then I just try to find the figure later. And if I find it's put together and everything, then that's great. Then I got it, and I can resell that accessory that I got. But that way I don't have to hunt it down later. So that's one of the things I've done for a while now. It seems to be working out. What are you guys looking for right now? I guess we should kind of say that. We're talking about the things we're still buying. What are you guys looking for these days? Anything in particular?
Well, I might be picking up a very small Star Wars lot that has a few weapons I could use, so that's kind of in the works. I did get a little buzz about some Transformers and Joes. I don't know where that trail is leading. Other than that, after the stuff I just picked up, I'm kind of slowing down. But now that we've been talking about He-Man, I've got a few things on my watch list. We'll see. I don't have I don't have anything in mind per se. It's tough because honestly, I love the vintage stuff the most. But I'll get like emails, like I was telling you earlier. I got the email about the new Hot Toys Emperor being released through Sideshow. So it's very distracting. It's like, okay, do I spend a bunch of money on some vintage toys that I've been searching for ages, or do I spend just a lump sum on a new figure? But, really what I'm trying to do is squirrel away some money, because soon the snow hopefully will be leaving, and garage sales, flea markets, all those things that open up in spring are going to be coming underway. So looking for some cheap grabs.
Well, I saw this show on Netflix called something about the toys. And,
oh, yeah?
Yeah, and everything, I think it's all worth money now, right? So maybe I'll go garage selling.
Speaking of Hot Toys, I know they're pretty expensive. Do you think over in time they're going to hold their value?
I think it depends on the lines. I bought a few of the older ones and, resold them maybe 3-4 years after the fact for, a few $100s more. But definitely, I think the Star Wars will hold its value. Anything they're doing with the comic book characters, I think it's kind of like the Flash in the Pan movies that they put out every once in a while. Like maybe like a Pirates of the Caribbean figure that might not hold it, but It's all speculation. You really have no idea.
They do everything too, right? Like superheroes and Star Trek and things like that, right?
I don't know if they do Star Trek yet, but
I thought I'd seen something.
Their hands are in a lot of different cookie jars. But I mean, honestly, if you're looking for the absolute best likeness and best accessories, I mean, yeah, they're expensive, $200, $300, $400, but I mean, there's nothing in comparison.
Yeah, I remember seeing the Iron Man, and that was pretty impressive.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you too. What's this craziness I hear about you're looking for the Fortress of Fangs?
When am I not looking for the Fortress of Fangs? That's one of my all-time favorite playsets, if not my favorite playset when I was a kid.
Dungeons and Dragons.
I never cared about Dungeons and Dragons. Never had any interest. I had two of the characters as a kid. Didn't really care. But one holiday, I think it was for a Christmas. I don't think it was for my birthday. I think it was for Christmas. My mom got me that Fortress of Fangs playset for whatever reason, but it went along with the size of all the other figures, and I was like, this is the most amazing, maddening set. So I kind of forget about it, and then I'll see it somewhere, maybe online or in someone's collection, like, oh, the Fortress of Fangs, I got to get that, and then I realize how hard it is to find it with all the pieces. Because again, I'm not searching for pieces. Yeah, it's either complete, I'll pay the price, and we're done. And so, I actually ran into a pretty beat up one the other day that they wanted a little bit too much for, at least for, what I was missing. But now, I got the bug to go look for this thing. If I find it, maybe my tax return money will go towards a Fortress of Fangs, or maybe I'll be looking for it a year from now. Who knows?
Yeah. There's a piece in that set, the gate, that has two skulls.
Oh, right, yep.
The two skulls in the gate are a pain in the rear to find. So, Jake, what are you looking for?
In a word, Lego. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's all I'm really focused in on. I'll buy one minifigure. I'll buy 10 minifigures. I'll buy, even if it comes out to be duplicates, depending on what the figure is. Like, I just looked at my storage facility the other day upstairs in my little cubbyhole that I'm allowed, and I realized I have a few of the dinosaur costume figures, and I didn't realize I had picked up so many. So, yeah, I'm basically hoarding right now. So if I see a collection of Lego, I'll buy it. If I see, bulk Lego bricks, I might just buy those. I'm mainly into the minifigures, but yeah. Lego all the way. I'm looking constantly.
Are you going backwards, or are you just looking for modern stuff? I mean, how far back do you look for Legos?
I like the more modern stuff because the yellow face is just blank expression. So the flesh faces are pretty cool. They have beards and, instead of just a little drawn squiggly mustache, And so I like the more modern stuff. But the thing that I don't like about Lego is they keep putting out the same sets over and over and over again. And, I have one land speeder that I bought in 2010, and there's been two that have been put out since then. And it's, it's kind of overkill, but that's the other thing too. I mean, they have reference books, and you can see which figure has the lines on their, their shirt, and you can tell it came with the specific set, and so it's a pretty wild hobby.
How many Falcons do they have out?
I have 3, so I think they have, not including the UCS, the Ultimate Collector Series, which they have 2 of those already. 2
Ultimate Collectors?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. They came out with one a few years back. I think it was 2010, if I'm not mistaken. And then they just came out with one this past year. And they sold out quick. I mean, they're gone. You can't get them now unless you buy them on the secondary market, and you're going to pay a chunk for it.
Sure.
But then, just the regular sets, I think they have at least 5 that I can think of off the top of my head, and then they have a MIDI series, which is mid-size, and then they have the micro fighters. So I mean, they have a ton of it.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Before I forget, if anyone out there has Robotech toys and they want to unload those, I am looking for Robotech
or Tron, right? You're still looking for the Tron.
I'm always looking for upscale my Tron stuff, which isn't much of a line, but the Robotech I actually don't have any, and I'd like to go back. Yeah.
How many Tron figures are there? There's only 6 or so.
There's
4? Oh, that's it. Okay.
4 figures and a couple light cycles.
Yeah. There was there's the red and the yellow, and then they made a blue one with the more recent release. Yeah. But That's a great line. And then the zip sticks, the zip cord, whatever you call them there.
Yeah.
I mean, those are a pain in the ass to find.
Yeah, a lot of them are broken.
They're always broken. So, what am I looking for? What am I not looking for? I'm always looking.
That's the better question.
Yeah, I'm still looking to kind of piece together a few stragglers here in the different lines that I collect. So, kind of going with the LJN Advanced Dungeons & Dragons line. I'm still looking for Hawkler. He was the ranger. He's got that bird kind of sits on him. Pretty expensive figure, and I've seen him out there once in a while, but I'm trying not to pay top dollar for him, if you know what I mean. There's also another figure out there called Deeth, and he is the fighter. He's got it looks like a little kid wearing a medieval kind of.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
that guy.
It's kind of cool. I'm still looking for him, and the big thing with him, you find him a lot, but he is always missing his cape. So if I can find one with the cape for the right price, I would love that. What else? The Nightmare Steed, which was the flying horse, looked like a skeleton, had the flames coming off. Not really hard to find. Same with the bronze dragon. They had this weird saddle. You put the Braveheart figure in there. I'm always looking for those two. Don't want to pay a ton for them. That's the problem. They're so common.
That's what I was going to say. If they're so not hard to find, how come you don't have them?
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I think I've seen them so many times, that I'm like, pick it up later. Pick it up later. And for some reason, I still don't have it. So those are two things I should probably concentrate on. I'm still looking for Thundercats, Safari Joe. And I know that's going to sound crazy. One of the big things that makes these characters, these figures, so hard to get is their accessories. Those damn accessories are harder than balls to find. The guns and, the swords and whatnot. Safari Joe is one of those guys that, the gun, impossible to find. Well, as it turns out, I found somebody that had it. So I bought the gun. Now I need the figure. So I don't need your gun, Safari Joe. I just need you. That's the other thing. And then, of course, I do collect the Marvel Legends lines, the Build-A-Figures. And I'm still looking for Rhino's right arm. I know that's going to sound crazy, but Rhino's right arm, he comes with the Superior Venom figure. And if you go online, I've seen that figure literally selling for like $90, $70 to $90. And they'll ask $40, $50 just for that stupid arm. Or you can go buy the entire figure for like $60. None of the prices on these Marvel Legends make sense. It's just,
I don't really understand that, because from what I understand, the Marvel Legends figures, at least, for at least a year or two, are still in production. They're not hard to find. They're not like they're limited.
Well, they go in runs, obviously.
Right.
There's this run. They just pulled another one. They're coming out with the newest line, which is based off the new Avengers movie that's coming out.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, there's a new Build-A-Figure Thanos that's coming out.
Ooh.
And everybody's actually not too happy with it.
Oh,
So,
they already did a Thanos too, didn't they? A Build-A-Figure?
They've done two different Thanos. One of them was the Build-A-Figure. I believe the other one was like a Toy Biz figure. I want to say that's what it was. The second one is actually pretty good. This new one...
Is it based off Josh Brolin's
version?
Okay.
Yeah, and it doesn't quite look great.
To steal a phrase that I heard on our football podcast, what's up with Thanos' butt chin?
Yeah, it kind of looks like it. He does have a butt chin on it. So, but if anybody has any of those pieces or those figures or whatever these guys were looking for too, the Legos or the Robotech, please drop us a line. We're always looking at that stuff and looking to buy. So you got that. And also, we do still have the shop on our Facebook, on our webpage, rather, I should say, that you can go to and you can buy some stuff. I've been adding some stuff right along, so I know there's some deals on there. We have a lot of the Teenage Turtle stuff from Dallas Shepherd's collection still on there for sale.
Yeah, you just go to mygaragebar.com and the shop is right there on the homepage, so you can just click on it and browse around, buy some stuff if you'd like, and spread the word.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're, like I said, we're always looking to sell, to buy, to do all that kind of stuff. So definitely hit us up.
No trading.
So we did a show about Masters Universe, but you're not looking for any Masters Universe. You're telling me you have Eternia, the biggest playset ever made?
Listen, you're going to hear me say this probably very, very few times in my life. I don't want Eternia. Too damn big, man.
It hung from the ceiling at Bradley's. It was gigantic. Like a boat.
It's like people that have asked me, do you have the USS Flag for G.I. Joe? I said, no.
It's parked in the driveway.
It's freaking huge. Where am I going to put it, man? I live in a house that's the size of a Dorito bag. I can't put this crap in there. So,
that big, huh?
Yeah, 2-story Dorito bag. So, as we kind of wrap up this show here, because we're running out on time, but I'm going to tell you what, I wanted to end by talking about the most ridiculous purchases that we have made. And we had quite the little adventure about 2 weeks ago, Bill and I. And do you want to tell the story, or
I mean,
they left me right out of it, folks.
Well,
I think you were at dinner or something.
No, weren't you sick?
I don't know when you went. There was some reason I wasn't involved.
Yeah.
But, whatever it is.
Every once in a while I get, bug on my ass when it's like just a boring weekend is to go to like some of the local antique stores. So, I messaged Rich and I was like, what you got going on? He's like, nothing. I was like, you want to go to the antique barn in Westmoreland? He's like, yeah, sure. So, we just spent pretty much the afternoon looking for whatever, and I came home with a snork. One snork.
Which one? I might be interested.
I don't. It was a snork holding an ice cream cone. My son has now usurped it because he has an ice cream cone, so now that's his.
I actually have that already.
Do you? Oh, lucky you. And let's see. I got a strawberry shortcake. I don't know what it was called. Like some sort of like cart with bugs and flowers. Rich actually convinced me to buy this thing for $6 because it came in the original Kenner box, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." Came in the old Kenner box, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if I should buy this," and he's like, "No, you should definitely buy that because if you don't, the old line, if you don't buy it, I'm gonna buy it." So of course I bought it for $6, and I did sell it 2 days ago on eBay for $20 because I was like, I don't want this. What am I gonna do with this? So it's somebody else's now.
Well, the beauty of this whole story too is that
your glasses.
Yeah, well, we go up there, we're just kind of looking around, and there's nothing really in particular we're trying to find. So as we're walking around this antique barn, it's 2 stories. If you
I've been there. Yep.
So as we're walking around there, they're following us around because it's all older people, and here's Bill and I. We come along and they're looking at us like
2 people in their mid-40s.
They probably listened to our second podcast.
Yeah, like these bastards are gonna steal us. They're gonna rob us blind. So they were following us around, talking and chatting us up, and we're just picking up random crap. And what was it like? Not Starlog. What was the magazine you found?
I don't even know what it was called. It was like some old magazine. Basically, I think it was geared for maybe 10-year-olds or whatever. It had like 10 pages of talking about like whatever new movie or new TV show. One had like Three's Company on it.
That was what he found.
I was like, oh wow, Three's Company. That's pretty cool. But I want to pick it up to one of the Empire Strikes Back cover, and it had like a fold out of Mark Hamill looking like really corny. And I was like, all right, it was like 20% off this booth. I was like, okay, it's mine, $3. I threw it on the floor. It's Cat probably pissed on it at this point. I have no idea. It's just like a waste of money, clearly.
And as we're walking around, all of a sudden, Bill says, "Oh yeah, you see these Burger King glasses over here?" So the next thing I know, I'm buying Burger King glasses. Not
the Star Wars ones,
no,
or just Burger King, like the Whopper.
Yeah, like the Duke of Doubt.
And you're really talking this down because let me tell you, when Rich saw those glasses, he was over the moon. He was so enamored with these glasses, and he's like, he's picking them all up. He's got a handful of these glasses. He's like so excited. He's trying to find the whole set.
I was.
It's right up his alley because I'm sitting here staring at TJ's or TT's Big Boy, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think the Colonel Sanders is around here somewhere.
Yeah, man, I'm big into fast food stuff. Look at
right
me.
up your alley.
Yeah, I mean, look at me. Obviously, this body is by fast food, so I think I got this way on accident. Come on. And
you're part of the billion served by McDonald's. Huh?
I'm probably most of those billion. Yeah, but yeah. So I picked up Burger King glasses, and what the hell else was it that I grabbed? There was something else very, very corny. I can't even remember. But we both walked out of there with just really, really, really bad purchases.
Not what we initially were looking for, clearly.
Yeah.
I got to say, coming in here tonight, I was not expecting to hear the word snorks.
Yeah.
Because I do the same thing. Like, if I see a snork or a smurf, I'll pick it up for my girlfriend and give them to her. And she's got a whole shelf full of them now. So I actually have a couple snorks, and those are just ridiculous purchases.
You're in luck, Jake, because there's 2 more snorks there.
I got to go.
Yeah. Well, listen, and don't let him downplay this. Don't let him make
How much are these snorks?
$1 a piece.
I was walking around there. He was looking at those magazines, trying to find out what's going on with the World of Threes company. And I happen to go. I go, hey, look at this, a snork. And he goes, where?
I'm looking for snorks. And what's the ultimate? Question with Three's company? Janet or Chrissy?
Oh yeah,
I'm a Janet
Chrissy.
guy. Oh,
You were?
See, there you go.
I was Chrissy too. Yeah,
I just watched that the other night on TV. Actually, I like watching that and Sanford and Son, and there's a TV station I can't remember what it's called, and they play all these old shows. Good Times. I was watching.
I
the
love
other day.
Good Times was great. I got one question. Everybody always says that, like, oh, I went out and I found this in the wild. I found like the blue snaggletooth in the wild. I found this. I found that. It's all crap.
Oh yeah.
What did we find? Mostly up in that one antique shop.
Dust.
We found lots of dust, but we found like glasses, glassware. There was a bunch of VCR tapes.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Junk.
if you had bad VHS, and there was a ton of it.
We found like some kind of a pig nose that you put on with a band that goes around your head. There's another one that was a cat.
that was a store in Verona. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Christmas ornaments, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
The
There was some Christmas.
velvet posters.
Oh,
those are amazing.
very nice stuff. Very, very nice. Yeah.
Is that the black cat?
The vintage black cat. Yeah. Well, the thing was, the other place, the Antique Barn, did have some Star Wars, but of course, it was the Boba Fett that was like beat the hell, no gun,
$70.
Yeah, exactly, like $45. I'm like, yeah, okay. That's
Where can you? How can you even start bargaining at that price point?
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do? You just put it down.
They did have a nice weekway.
Oh, my boy.
Why is everyone knocking the Weequay? I like that guy.
I love them too, but there's just a million of them.
True. You could have got one up there, man, because they had one.
Where are we going this weekend?
Back up there.
All right.
For some more weekway.
I'll pick up Jake Snorks.
Hey, before we truly cut out of here, I got to ask you. So the Han Solo trailer, we have to mention that.
You just did.
What'd you think watching that?
Well, I saw the little snippet on Sunday. Someone pointed out
During the Super Bowl that you were watching?
Oh yeah, keep my eyes off that. It was like whatever. It was too short to tell. And then I watched the full trailer today, and if this was anything other than Han Solo, if this was something else, like just a completely different character, I'd say this looks like a fun movie. But the fact that it's Han Solo and that guy doesn't look anything like Han Solo, sound like him, and I've been fooled. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times at least with Star Wars movies. Potentially looking good but being pretty poor. I'm going to go into this movie because I'm definitely going to see it.
First day.
With zero. Yeah, you're going to be standing right behind me. What are you talking about?
Me too.
Yeah, there you go. I'll have zero expectations. So if it's even remotely entertaining, I'll be good, I guess.
I got to say, you're 100% right. He does look nothing like Harrison Ford or Han Solo, and he doesn't look, laugh like him or talk like him, smirk like him. He doesn't have the same smugness, it seems, from the preview. But when they silhouetted him when he was standing there in the preview, when he was unhooking his gun to obviously draw on somebody, that reminded me of Han Solo, so that I was looking forward to that. I liked the way that the new Millennium Falcon looked, or the brand spanking new,
the old new,
crystal clear white interior, and it looked pretty cool. And I gotta say, I gauge all these movies, I've said it before, with my son's reaction, and I found out something new about my son. Lando Calrissian is his favorite character.
Really?
He jumped up out of the chair and said, "Is that Lando? Is that Lando?" And I said, "Yeah, that's Lando." He said, "He's my favorite. I can't wait to see this movie." So,
wow,
we'll see it.
I'm a big Lando fan myself.
Wow.
Yeah, I was surprised because I know I'm partial to Han Solo. He was my favorite. I tried to instill that in my son, and who's he go with? His buddy there, Lando instead.
Yeah. I was a little bit skeeved out at the end there by Chewbacca kind of groping Han. But hey, what do I know?
Well, what was that?
At least he didn't Rochambeau you.
Are you looking forward to it or not? Did you think the trailer was as bad?
Yes.
Or better? Because, I mean, obviously, before this trailer came out, everyone was bagging on it, making fun of it. Like, the trailer kept being delayed. We weren't getting it. Obviously, they fired the original directors. Yeah. Everyone thinks this is going to be just, like, a crash and burn for Disney. I thought it looked better than, expected, at least.
I liked that one shot of the Star Destroyer
coming out of
that cloud-looking thing. That was wild.
I wasn't impressed with the airing during the Super Bowl where there was no talking or any kind of really anything. It was just kind of just ominous music and a couple chase scenes, and then I saw the second version of it and I liked that a lot better. So.
Yeah, and Ron Howard, how do you feel? He's talented. I think he's gonna at least do his best to make this.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
A halfway entertaining movie.
I want to know what that one thing was.
Woody Harrelson.
It was like some guy reaching down. He had like different gold moving parts. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, and that weird
yeah.
Oh, the Canto Bite Part 2 scene.
Yeah, they kind of look like that. I don't know what that is. I'm sure I'm going to find out.
I saw a Twi'lek in it, so I was like, all right, that's cool.
That sold you, huh?
Yeah, that sold me. Dengar should actually be in this movie. If they were smart, they would have him in there, because it's like one of Han Solo's old rivals or whatever.
Well, Jabba the Hutt, got to be in here, right?
Oh, absolutely, it's got to be.
And fan service, Boba Fett's going to be in there.
Oh yeah,
and he'll be dead in 3 seconds.
Yeah, he's just going to walk through. Boba Fett. And then
get shot in the head.
And then 45 more characters of them coming out in the toy line.
Well, the good news is if this movie sucks, it's not a trilogy. You don't have 2 more garbage movies to deal with. It's a one-off. It is what it is.
Wait till they come out with Chewie, another Star Wars story, followed by Lando, the third Star Wars story.
Let's face it, we're going to get a movie for every single character.
The
movie.
While we're on the topic of movies, I just want to say I watched the other day, this is old news to most people out there, but I unfortunately didn't go see this movie in the theater, but Thor Ragnarok blew me away.
Yeah.
I've watched it twice now in the past week, and oh my God, what a great movie.
Loves it.
It was great.
Did you see it, Rich?
I have not.
Oh, really? Yeah, that was fantastic.
That was supposed to be my my big weekend, and I walked in there all happy, and I had my free movie pass, and they had yanked it.
So. Oh, you know why? Because you keep refilling that popcorn bag. You're not supposed to say. You're like, sorry, brother, you're not coming in here
2 more times this week. Oh dear. All right. On that note, I think we're gonna cut out of here, and yeah. So for the next show, I'm gonna try to get the Transformers one going, but I know we do have a show coming up with one of my buddies from out in Syracuse, New York. His name is Matt. He has a huge collection of horror memorabilia from a bunch of different, like Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Hellraiser. I mean, he's big
all
into,
things scary.
Yeah, he's big into like the slasher films. And not only does he collect some of this stuff, but he's got this this hobby, which is to actually go around the country and visit the places that that these things were filmed. So he has a bunch of photos of him like standing near the Halloween play, the house from Halloween, and like the Nightmare on Elm Street house and stuff. It's really cool.
I'm very excited to see this gentleman's collection and hear these stories.
Yeah, so that should be really good, and I'll try to set that up pretty soon. So hopefully that'll be the next show. If it's not, we'll find something else.
Yeah, we got a bunch of stuff in the works.
Yeah. Again, Jake, you want to plug the shop?
Yeah, go right to mygaragebar.com. Check out our website. You can obviously download these podcasts, listen to them right on our site. You can go to iTunes and check it out. But yeah, we offer a store. We have some vintage toys up there right now. Might be some modern toys. We're going to have a mixture of things for sale, and keep on listening.
Some Burger King glasses.
Yeah. Some Flash Gordon figures.
Snorks.
Everybody likes that one. So, all right. So I guess that's it. And for Jake and for Bill, I'm Rich Masucci. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.
See ya.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about here? you thought